How does Big Brother make it in a home with two parents high on heroin?
Oh, Big Brother left I was a teenager. I left home at like 14, 15 years old.
To go where?
To go live in my girlfriend's house, and then I eventually wound up living on the subway when she decided I wasn't going to be her boyfriend anymore. And I wound up living on the subway. I was homeless for a while. And
in New York?
In New York.
Riding the subways, living on the subways as a teenager.
But it was fine. Trust me, it was fine. My cousin, my first cousin, was what we call a tunnel rat, and she lived in the subway, like in the subway where the rats are. At least I just lived in the subway.
On the train.
On the actual train, yeah.
So how are you functioning on a daily basis? Because, I need you to tell this story, and I know you've told it before, because there's so many people who are living lives and thinking that, everything's so horrific, like it's the worst life ever.
No, not at all.
And here's a man raised by two heroin addicts, living on his own as a teenager in New York City, which is both the hardest and the easiest city if you can make it. If you make it, you just, but if you don't, it has you, right? But somehow made it to become probably one of the most important musical, not just music, because I think what you do is a lot bigger than that. One of the most important people in our history. How does that, what are you doing as a teenager that made it okay for you to ride the subways?
I was raised in an era where we were socialized to care about other people. Like, that was first and foremost. And it's funny, I always make a joke. Like, when I was a kid, a person, and let me put this in context. There was always a little old lady or a little old man waiting for you to walk them across the street. Like, people make jokes about it now, but when I was a kid, I was a Cub Scout, a Boy Scout, and all that stuff way before I became a Black Panther. But these were all just part of the same social dynamic. They taught young children to respect their elders and to care for property, and so what happened is that because I was socialized to care about others, I never felt my own pain that much. Now, don't get me wrong. There was a time where I felt pain so much that I actually was sort of suicidal, but that was just a minute.
Right. And you were doing some drugs, too. You did a little
that was
later.
Else. I never felt suicidal once I was doing drugs. I could afford it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Duly noted. Okay. So
that was a choice.
So you're not going to school? Like, what?
So here's an interesting thing about my educational background. Because I was born sickly. I was born, so my mom, got pregnant at 13.
Yeah. So
too young nowadays.
Nowadays, she's not doing prenatal vitamins.
Right. No, she didn't. No, she actually tried to abort me. They didn't know how to do it. My mom actually had 3 coat hanger abortions. So when they were trying.
Time out.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
So
I just had to process that. No,
so
it wasn't. Right, it was before Roe v. Wade.
I was part of that movement that did things like that. We got. Remember, I was born in 52.
Right. Yeah, no Roe v. Wade. We take these things for granted while they're fighting over Planned Parenthood now, which we're going to talk about later. We take this for granted that...
No, my mom almost died. The first time she did it, she was fine. The second 2 times she did it, she almost died. I mean,
trying to get rid of you.
Yeah, she tried to get rid of me, but that didn't work. They didn't know how to do it. They were children.
Kids with a coat hanger, they knew something with the coat hanger, and we dig around.
Try and dig around.
Okay.
So anyway, when I was born with what they thought was just polycystic kidney disease, but in fact it was all my organs, but they didn't know it at the time. So nowadays, if a girl is 13 years old, they automatically give you a C-section because now they've gotten smarter and they know that it's dangerous for the kid. So when I was born, I had a lot of problems, and they put me in a convalescent home at the time I was 5 years old. That may have been the greatest thing that ever happened to me, because I'm sitting in this convalescent home in Valhalla, New York, and they were known for their early childhood development programs when it came to education. So now I'm 5 years old sitting in this classroom, one room classroom, with kids from the age of 5 or 4 up to 16 or 17. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do what they do. So I'm sitting
learn how to read.
Learn how to read. So the very first day I went to a proper school, I was 6 years old, and I was behind the class in time. I was by maybe 2 months late, but because I was born in September, they were considering, well, do we leave him back until next year? And, because he'll still be 6 years old, but he'll be the oldest person in the class. But now he's the youngest person in the class, but he's a few months behind. So they gave me a book to read, and I just whipped through that. I was like a first grade reader. It was like, whatever. I don't even know.
I read with 16, I'm reading them to sleep.
Yeah, right. I was reading at an 8th grade level at 6 years old.
Wow.
And so because I went to Catholic school, they kept saying that I was touched by the hand of God, and my mom was laughing, going, no, he went to school.